Hello and welcome to the Bold and Brave Collective. I'm Faye Lynne, your host, and I can't wait to introduce you to my inspiring friend, Carol Randall.
Hello, Faye Lynne. Thank you for having me on today.
Oh my goodness, I'm excited. I can't wait for people to hear a bit about your bold journey. But before we dive in, I'm going to tell people a little bit about you, okay? All right. Carol is a dedicated professional at Libro Credit Union and volunteers as the resource manager for Faye Lynne's Lighthouse, pouring her heart into our community. And I'm very grateful for that, Carol, all the help that you give me. She's also the missions coordinator at Bethel Christian Church in Cottam, where she's taken bold steps to serve and lead. Over the past few years, Carol's confidence has soared through stepping up and stepping in, and her story will inspire you to embrace your own bold and brave journey. Wow, you sound pretty confident now, Carol, eh?
I'm just oozing confidence.
Yeah, it's oozing all over the place. I can feel it over here. Okay, Carol, so what would you say is the moment that you decided to start stepping it up, to start trying to get a little more power, I guess, into the confidence in your life?
Well, I would say it was joining Faye Lynne's Lighthouse, because you have inspired me to do more than I ever thought I could by way of attending the power hours. And we did a lot of the review of the books of John Maxwell. And that was great. The roundtable discussions of that really inspired me to do more, to lead myself better. That was one of the biggest, I think that was the biggest impact. Was I always thought I'm not a leader.
Yeah.
So what do I need to learn about that for? What would I need to take that class for, or take a course, or learn about that for? But then you mentioned that everyone leads themselves. And I thought, oh, well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because I feel like over these years, I haven't led myself as well as I should have. So by doing Faye Lynne's Lighthouse adventures with you, it has inspired me to do more, to be a better person and lead myself well.
Wow, that's great. And that is something that people say to me all the time. I don't need leadership training because I'm not a leader. But then I always say, who leads your life? You're leading your life, and you want to do it the best that you can. Well, that's good that you took that to heart and that you intentionally started doing that. And I know within the last couple of years, it's been a big change. It's really benefited you in your life and your confidence. I've seen that for myself. But when you decided to do that, did you feel like maybe there were some obstacles in the way that didn't make it quite as easy as you thought it might be, just to step up your game? And how did you handle that if you came up against an obstacle?
Well, I think I'm my biggest obstacle. So I had to sort of get out of my own way, if that makes sense. I had to just build up my confidence to know that even though I thought I couldn't do it, or I wasn't enough to do it, that I could do it. And if I just took that step, that it would, as frightening as that step was when I first started, and sometimes still today it is. It's not like I've arrived and it's easy. No. It's just that it was worth the step. I had to take an action step. And a lot of that, again, is contributed to Faye Lynne's Lighthouse. And some of it I'll attribute to the mission coordinator job, or the volunteer gig I have at Bethel Church.
Yes. How did that help you? Yeah.
Well, that has really, oh my gosh, now you put a mic in my hand and a podium in front of me, and I'm like, oh, la la, okay, I can do this,
that's awesome.
Which is not really my style for people who know me. It's not really, but it really has encouraged me to, I stand in front of people and I have to address them. And the law of preparation really holds true for me, because I think there's a lot to be said about that, being prepared to do anything, whatever it is. If it's me, in that case, it was me speaking in front of the congregation. Yeah. But I do think that, most recently we did a Faye Lynne's Lighthouse event, and we had to prepare a lot for that. And it was worth it. It was worth all the effort and all the time that was spent, because it turned out to be an amazing event. And
isn't it worth it? It is, that preparation. Some people just think you just throw something together and that it'll be just as good. But I feel like if you're serving, then you want excellence. So preparing for it, you deliver it excellently. And I know I saw you rehearsing and practicing, and when you did it, it looked like it was just an ad lib, but it was so, it really resonated with the people because you had prepared so well, and you caught them by surprise too, because you really aren't that, well, you are more outgoing now, but initially people don't expect that because you have been quiet and more reserved.
Right.
So, but how do you feel? Does it feel like it's a natural step for you, or does it feel like, oh, maybe you're pushing it a little further than you want to?
Well, believe it or not, it does feel a little bit more natural now, which I can't even believe I would say that.
Wow.
But
I was wondering.
It really has been a great journey because, through this journey, again, not just with Faye Lynne's Lighthouse and the Bethel coordinator mission, I had an opportunity to actually speak at my cousin's funeral, which was a big undertaking when asked to do that prior to her passing. And I thought, I can't say no. And so when I did that, even that day, standing in front of that podium felt somewhat natural. Again, I had written out what I wanted to say,
prepared
about her. And some of it I ad-libbed just to engage some of the folks who were there mourning her. But it was really quite interesting. It was, I don't know, it was such a different experience because I felt like sort of out of body, if you will, in an odd way, just because I was up there and I was just doing this. And it's just so, it's very out of character.
Yeah.
So now, very out of character.
But it feels natural now.
I was, but now it feels like, oh my gosh, I can actually do this.
And that's why it's such a great confidence builder, because once you do it, you've only done it a few times. So I say a dozen or something, but every time you do it, doesn't it feel a little more, that you're, like you said, when you said engaging the audience, I thought, when would I think that you would start engaging the audience? It just,
Never.
So it's fantastic. It's fantastic to see. And the fact that you said it feels natural is great, because you don't want to be doing something that's so far out of your wheel well, but still enough to stretch yourself, right? You're stretching yourself beyond of what you would naturally have thought you could do before. And that's what's so rewarding. And that's what's rewarding about working with people at Faye Lynne's Lighthouse, is that as they start to stretch themselves a little more, then not only have you stretched that much, but then that's your capability stretches that much. Then you stretch yourself more, you're more capable. And that's where the confidence comes, right? Just keep stretching yourself. That's wonderful. That's good. I had forgotten about your cousin's funeral. And then that was a great opportunity for you to speak and to have a platform.
In remembrance of her and to honor her wishes, because it was what she asked me to do. And
wow.
There's a lot to be said about personal growth. I would be a huge advocate of that. You have to press in, you have to engage because you're worth it. And you have to lead yourself well. I think that's what people forget. People forget that they're worth it.
Yeah. But good.
Yeah. To anybody, for your audience watching, you're worth it. You should.
Good. That's good. And that's what I was going to say. Is there anything you would say to women thinking, I always thought I wasn't the person, that I couldn't do this or whatever? How would you say to them to take that first step so that you would really just step out of that area that you always thought you were contained with? What would you encourage them to do to take a step forward?
Well, I'm going to use a John C. Maxwell quote that really spoke to me the other day. And he said this: your life expands in proportion to your courage. Fear limits a leader. And that really, a step of courage is what I would encourage people to do. Take the step, do it. Yeah. Even if you're afraid, even if you think, it's not what I do, I'm more of an introvert, or I'm not a leader, or any of the things that chatter inside of yourself, or that perhaps chatter around you. Just take that step of courage, because you can do bold things.
That's awesome. That is bold and brave. Which is why you're here today. That's awesome. Very good. That's a good encouragement. I would encourage viewers to do that. Just take that step, even though, and sometimes when you do take that step, the people around you are the most negative, because they think, well, that's not you, or you don't do that, or whatever. Whereas I think the opportunity that you've had at Bethel is that these people didn't know you before, because it's a new church. So you walk in more comfortable thinking, well, they don't know. Right now, I remember the first time you spoke and they said, wow, she's such an amazing speaker. And I thought, wow, that's incredible. Yeah. But how did it used to be when you used to do parts and dramas and things like that? What did you What did you do before?
Well, yes, I participated in Parkwood's plays, and I was always in a non-speaking role, even though the leadership there would encourage me to take on lines. I was always the behind-the-scenes person. I was always out there doing my acting part and singing quietly, but I never did a part with lines.
No.
In the time that I participated in, that was years. But,
did you just feel like you didn't want to, or that you couldn't?
That I didn't want to be, well, that I couldn't, and that I'm not a person who would like to be in front of the spotlight like that, or I wasn't. No, apparently
now it's like, anyone else step aside.
Now you give me a mic and a podium and look out.
That's funny. That's funny. I know, it's funny. It's just funny because hilarious. I know you, and anyone watching this that knows you would think that too. It's like, wow, that's really out of character for Carol. But that is cool, because then we really do limit ourselves. So there's so much opportunity. There's other things that we can do, but we limit ourselves to saying, I'm not like that, or I can't do that, or this is for someone else. Whereas you try it. And then there are things we try that we don't enjoy. And then we don't have to pursue those things. But if you found something that you enjoy and that you're pursuing, that's excellent. Very good. All right, let me see. I think I have one more question. Yes. How do you keep your bold voice strong when you start to doubt things, or when fear creeps in and tries to make you think you can't do something? How do you keep yourself strong?
Well, I would say that I put aside the noise, the outside noise, the inside noise. Excuse me. And I take a moment to pray. I pray about what needs to happen next. What is the direction that I'm going to go in? How is the situation going to go? And how am I going to do it? How am I going to boldly take that step of courage and do it? Even if you're put on the spot and you're asked to do something. I was asked to do something a few months ago, and it was just on the fly. And at first I was nervous, and I thought, it's okay, because I can collect all my thoughts and I can still present it, even though I didn't have the time to prepare, which I don't encourage people to do. I would encourage you have time to prepare, but you can't always realistically, you can't always have that, that preparation time. Or life is not always a rehearsed event, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Not a rehearsed event. It's That's
very good. That's very good. Wow, that's awesome. Well, before we start wrapping things up, is there anything else that you want to encourage anyone with? Or I'm really glad that you shared this part of the journey that you're on right now, this season of growing and really of gaining confidence and being bold and brave. So I'm very thankful that you shared that with us today. But if you have anything else to say before we wrap things up.
I would say, if you were a shy person who always thought you were introverted and couldn't do it, go try it. Go try whatever it is that you thought you couldn't do. Or perhaps someone asked you, because I was asked to do a few things and always said no. And today I'm a different person. I just try it.
Well, that's good. Very good. Because a lot of times we, like you said, though, that the biggest obstacle sometimes is ourself. Yes. So you held yourself back, and a lot of people miss out on a lot of opportunities because of that. So, wow, that's great. That's very good advice. I have one last little question that I'm going to ask you that's going to be funny, I hope.
Okay, Faye Lynne.
Hope we're both laughing after this. All right, Carol, here's the question. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's easy. I would be able to teleport myself all over the world. I have family that live in Saskatchewan, and I would just all of a sudden be there. It would be fantastic.
Oh, nice.
My friend lives in Ottawa. My other friend lives in Honduras. I would just be traveling everywhere to see them.
Oh, that's a great superpower. That's good. You didn't even have to think about that one very long. That's awesome.
It's on my bucket list. Teleport. Yes.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And thanks again for being here today and just to share a little bit of where you're at in this season of your life. And it's very good to see that confidence growing inside of you and the things that you're doing. And I'm really happy to be a part of that. And thank you for everything that you do to support Faye Lynne's Lighthouse. Appreciate it so very much. And to everyone out there who's just waiting to take that next bold step in their life, we just encourage you to move forward. Contact us. We'll have our information below, and you can contact Carol and see how she has come to this place in her life, and contact me if you want to get together and talk a little bit more about being bold and brave. And make sure you listen to all the other episodes. We have some really bold and brave women on here. So until we meet again, stay bold and brave. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Faye Lynne.
Thank you for joining us on the Bold and Brave Collective. Carol Randall's inspiring journey from a reserved, behind-the-scenes volunteer to a confident speaker and leader is a powerful testament to the courage it takes to step up and step in. To connect with Carol and learn more about her work with Faye Lynne's Lighthouse, visit the links in the description below. If her story of stepping up and stepping in has inspired you, subscribe for more conversations with women who embrace their superpower with courage. Share this episode to encourage others, and until next time, stay bold and brave.